What is going on, lovely warriors and farmers of Tamaris? Welcome to the channel. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the Springwarden faction. I'm going to give you guys all the advantages and the disadvantages of this faction. I'm going to tell you guys whether to pick this faction at the beginning or to stay away from it. Make sure that you subscribe for more content, turn on the bell notification and never miss out. Like the video, share it with your friends, leave some comments down below. Let's get it started. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as of right now there are 3 factions in Call of Dragons. Right now I have made a video about the League of Order and I'm gonna link it up here. Today's episode is all about the Springwarden. We are gonna check out all the advantages and the disadvantages. The final verdict of this video is as follows. The Springwarden faction is the most expensive faction in Call of Dragons. It is highly recommended for whales who have deep pockets. On the contrary, if you are a free-to-play player or a super low spender, I would recommend you stay away from this faction. This is not the faction for you. Make sure you watch the video until the end because I'm gonna save you from making one of the big mistakes of your Call of Dragons career. We shall check out all the advantages and the disadvantages of this faction. We shall begin the video by going over the advantages of the Springwarden and then we're gonna go over the disadvantages. From the screen right here, you get a Legion March speed of plus 5%. You get a healing speed of plus 5%. This is excellent when you fight in the open field. Your starting hero is gonna be Gwanwyn. Gwanwyn is excellent for hunting Behemoth. She is decent in the open field. Let's go to the Springwarden city and find out some advantages of the Springwarden faction. First of all, you have a nice looking city with some awesome building. When you are in the Springwarden faction, your main troop type is going to be cavalry. It means you have 2 training camps dedicated to the cavalry troop type. You have the Eagle Nest for training eagles and then you have the Elk Stable for training cavalry. You're going to have some archer troops, you're going to have some magic, and you're going to have some infantry. The cavalry troops in the Springwarden are unique and special in their own way. Let's check out the Elk Stable. Now the Elk Riders are classified as a ranged cavalry. They can fire with the bow and the arrow. Their range is not as wide as the magic or the archers, but they can fight from a range. Now there is something you gotta know about this troop type. They tend to have a low physical attack and a much better physical defense. The Elk Riders from the Springwarden have a low physical attack when compared to the Wolf Riders from the Wilderbeg or the Knights from the League of Order. This is something to keep in mind. The Elk Riders are better defensively. Their attack damage is not as great as the other 2 factions. This is something to keep in mind. The flying troop type for the Springwarden is gonna be the Forest Eagles. These Forest Eagles are unique. They are kind of like a flying infantry. Their range is classified as melee. They fight in close contact. Now when we check out the Forest Eagles, they have some awesome statistics right here. Their physical attack is not so great, but they also have some good physical defense. The one thing I like about them is their march speed. They have the speed of the ground cavalry. If you want to chase someone down, just take out the Forest Eagles. They are gonna fly over the terrain and catch up with enemies in an instant. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are the advantages of the Springwarden faction. You get a nice looking city, you get Gwanwyn as a starting commander, plus 5% march speed and I think plus 5% healing, and your main troop type is gonna be cavalry. Now let's talk about all the disadvantages of this faction. Remember how I said this faction is mostly for whales who have a lot of money. If you are a free-to-play player, I suggest you stay away from this faction. It is not for you. Let us begin by talking about one of the things that you should not do when you pick a faction in this game. Do not pick the Springwarden because you want to get Gwanwyn early. This is not a very good decision. A lot of people will say pick the Springwarden and then switch to the League of Order. I recommend you don't do anything like this. You are gonna waste your faction change token for no reason. The main reason many people pick Gwanwyn first is because they want to unlock this hero to get a good ranking when they fight Behemoth. Just remember, in the global version of this game, there are going to be so many spenders who are going to get the top spot for Behemoth ranking. Therefore, as a low spender, do not pick a faction because you want to get one win right away. That's not a very good decision. It's very easy to level up epic heroes in this game. Save yourself the disappointment. Here are all the reasons you should not pick the Springwarden if you don't have a lot of money. As a free-to-play player or a low spender, I suggest you stay away from this faction. Instead, you should watch my League of Order video. I'm gonna link it here. You can check it out later. We all know that the magic troop type dominate the open field. When you are in the Springwarden faction, you are gonna have few magic troop type. Same thing with the archer troop type as well. The Springwarden is mostly for cavalry. You're gonna have a lot of flying eagles and you're gonna have a lot of elk riders. Guess what? When you fight in the open field, the cavalry does not dominate. Another reason this faction is terrible is because as a free-to-play or a low spender, you're only gonna get Emrys and you're only gonna get Alistair. You're gonna run out of stamina pretty fast. And then what? You're gonna have 2 training camps with a lot of troops that you cannot use. This is gonna be a bottleneck. Let's continue talking about the heroes. You also have this guy known as Bakshi. Bakshi is gonna be locked behind a gem pay wall. Now, are you gonna get Bakshi with the gems that you saved, or you're gonna get Kinara? You should think twice. When you are in this faction, you are mostly cavalry. Cavalry gets destroyed in murder ball situation. Your heroes will run out of stamina, you will have nothing left. You will have 2 times the trouble when you are in this faction, and here is why. You're gonna need a lot of speed ups to train the magic troop. You're gonna need a lot of speed ups to train archers. Let's say you are in the Wilderbeck faction. You will only be 1 times in trouble. You only have to train magic troop type, because in the Wilderbeck you have a lot of archers. You will only have to train magic. It sucks to be in the Springwarden faction if you are a low spender or a free-to-play. You're gonna need a lot of money to train a lot of magic troop type. Magic troops dominate the open field. Let's go to the heroes and see how many magic heroes we have over here. We have Walder, which is 1, Atheus, which is 2, we have Alistair, Alwyn, which is 3, and then you have Velin, and you also have Lilia. Where is she hiding? I think I have her right here. So this is 5 magic troop type. Now, if you are in this faction and you are a low spender or a free-to-play player, you won't have enough magic troops to fill up the heroes that you have right here. This is gonna be a bottleneck for you. When you fight in the open field, you are gonna struggle. You might send out maybe 1 or 2 magic marches, and then they all go to the hospital and you're pretty much done for the day. You will be forced to fight with your cavalry, but guess what? You only have 2 cavalry heroes right here at your disposal. Do you think this is a good faction for you? I don't really think so. If you are a whale, you will have money to train more magic and archers to fight with. There are so many heroes here for fighting with magic and archers. Those are the reasons you should stay away from the Springwarden if you are a low spender or a free-to-play player. Let's do a quick recap. Let's do a summary of everything that we have talked about. Don't pick this faction because you want to start with Gwanwyn, because there are gonna be so many people in Behemoth ranking who will outrank you because they have the money. That is just one. Don't pick this faction and then try to change to the League of Order just because you want Gwanwyn. Don't waste your faction change token. You are gonna need that in Season 2 when they introduce many new heroes. Save it for later. Stay away from this faction because you're going to have a lot of cavalry troops, and you know that all we have right now is 2 cavalry heroes right now, and then Bakshi, you're gonna need a lot of gems to get him. You will most likely save your gems for Kinara. That's what I think as a low spender and a free-to-play player. You should watch out for that. Another reason this faction is not that good is because you're gonna have to spend a lot of speed ups to train archers and magic troop type. When you look at the heroes in the game, there are so many archers and there are so many magic heroes in the game. If you are in this faction, you are going to suffer. Now, many alliances are going to have requirements. You are going to need to maintain a certain amount of merits to remain in a good ranking in your alliance. You will not get a lot of merits if you are in this faction, unless you save everything to train some magic troop type. If you try to use cavalry, you're going to run out of stamina. There are no many cavalry heroes in the game. You're going to need a lot of speed ups for the magic marchers and the archers. And this is why I say this is the most expensive faction in the game. You should watch out. Be careful before you pick this faction. Thank you guys for watching. If you are still new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. There are so many videos on my channel. You can check them out. I'm going to link relevant videos right here. Until then, talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.